Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I know it's been like a little over a week since I posted a video, but today I wanted to come and talk about my grandmother's death. But it was, I understand that people go through a lot when a member of their family passes away, but mine is rather unique just because I was 6 months, almost 7 months pregnant. So I wanted to come out and in this video and express my feelings towards that. So and basically what happened, like, before I got the news that my grandmother passed away and all that. So just like a quick backstory of like our family and our history and what she meant to us. So my grandmother was the backbone of the Ortiz family, and she was our number one supporter, and she was basically the mold that kept the family together. Okay guys, so it was like a really big thing for us to lose her. She would always call and check up on us, even though we sucked at calling her and checking up on her. She was always the one that would call us and make sure that we're doing okay. And I remember when I told my family I was pregnant. Remember, I was 21 when I became pregnant and 22 when I gave birth. So at 21 years old and not being married and being with my daughter's father for a year or so, a year and a half or so, yeah, was like a big shocker to especially to my dad. And my dad did not support the fact that I was pregnant. Not that he didn't support it, but he was very disappointed, as I explained in one of my videos previously. He was very disappointed in the fact that I wasn't responsible enough to not get pregnant. That to him was a big thing, especially because he always thought so highly of me, and he always said that his daughter would never do that, but in fact I did do that. So that being said, when I told my father, when my mom told my father that I was pregnant, they had to tell my grandmother, and my grandmother was a very religious person. So they thought that basically, she was gonna just be like, no, this is not happening. But being the loving grandmother that my grandmother was, she was actually very supportive of me. I think she was the only one that wasn't angry at me. Like, my uncles was mad at me, everybody was just disappointed. My dad didn't talk to me for a little bit, and she would tell my dad, because she used to call my dad people. She's like, "Ay, people, stop." Basically, I'm translating, but basically what she was trying to say is like, stop your shit. She didn't curse, but I think that if she did curse, she would say that, like, stop your shit, okay? She's pregnant. She's not anything, like, it's not nothing out of this world. That is a blessing from God. Just be thankful that you're here and that you get to witness your daughter give birth to life. Like, it's very simple. And my dad his response would be, "I know, Mom, but this is not the life that I pictured for my daughter." She'd be like, "I understand that, but Stephanie made her choice and she's here, and now we're gonna have a baby." And she was super ecstatic because how my grandmother was with her grandchildren was amazing. So the fact that she was able, or she was there to even find out that one of her grandchildren was having one of her great grandchildren, was beyond this world to her. So So I feel very lucky that I was the only grandchild, that my grandmother even had knowledge that she was about to be a great grandmother. So at least I got that, and I was very proud of that moment, because when I found out that she passed away, again, I was 6 months, almost 7 months pregnant. And she had called a few days before, and she was saying her goodbyes, and nobody knew, like, she wasn't sick, nobody knew, like, you know. So she had called a few days before, and she specifically spoke to me. She would call me in my pregnancy. She would call me often, like every other day or every day, you know, depending on how she felt. And there's one time she called and she's like, "Mami," and I'm like, "Oh, sí, sí, abuela." And she'll be like, "Dios te bendiga." She'll say, like, "Mommy, listen, I'm just calling because I don't think that I'm gonna be able to see the baby." And I was like, "What do you mean? Of course you're gonna be able to see the baby. Grandma, stop talking like that. Like, I'm gonna take the baby over there. You're gonna meet the baby. It's okay. Like, stop talking like that. Like, come on, you're still young." And she was like, "No, I think this is it. And, you know, I just want to let you know that I love you, and that having a baby is a blessing, and you take care of that baby, okay? And you love that baby with all of you." And I was just like, "Grandma, stop talking like that. Like, you know, stop." And she was like, "No, you know, I'm already feeling it. Like, I'm feeling, you know, like it's time. But I just wanted to call to say goodbye." And I'm like, "All right, Grandma, stop it." And then she was like, "Okay." And then she was like, "Ponme a tu hermano." Like, she put one of your brothers on so I can say bye to them too. And I'm like, "All right, Grandma, I'll talk to you tomorrow, or I'll talk to you like in a few days, and you'll be fine. Don't worry. I love you." And I was like, "Sí, abuela." And she's like, "Que Dios te bendiga, mi amor. Remember, always put God first." And I was like, yeah. And then, like, 2 days later, we get the phone. Like, 2 days later, I was laying in my bed, and my older brother comes into the room, and he's like, "Steph, that's it." He comes and he's crying. And to see my older brother cry, I've told you, as I said in one of his videos of his surgeries, my brother doesn't show emotion. So he comes up to, and he's not like a hugger or nothing. So he comes up to me and he hugs me while I'm laying down. He's like, "That's it, Steph." And I'm like, "What?" And he's like, "That's it, Steph. That's it, Grandma. That's it, Grandma. That's it." Like, he couldn't say nothing. And I was like, "What do you mean?" And he's like, she died. She passed away." I instantly started crying. Like, instantly. And I was like, "What?" And I, like, grabbed him and I hugged him. And the first thing I wanted to do was call my dad, because my dad has heart disease. So I wanted to make sure my dad was okay before anything. And I called him and I was like, "Pa, you okay?" He's like, "No, I'm not okay. I'm here at work." Like, that's it. I lost my last parent. Now, his dad, my grandfather, passed away when I was 8 years old. And he was, oh my God, he was beautiful. He was amazing. He was great, like, you know. And my dad was holding on to my grandmother as long as he could. And the fact that he now, like, that's it, he lost he lost his last parent, that to him was a big impact for him. And I was just like, "Well, come home, come on, what are we doing?" And at that time, you know, he knew it was coming, but he was dreading it coming. So then he came home, and we all were like, "Okay, how are we gonna do this? How are we gonna get there? How are we gonna go to the Dominican Republic? Oh my God, we have to." So we got on a plane, because we had to make it, and our plane was delayed. My grandmother's funeral and burial was at the same day, obviously, and we had to make it there. It was a certain time, and our plane was delayed, and then whatever. So we finally got to the Dominican Republic, and my dad, till this day, has such a soft spot for my cousin. Her name is Marlon. And he talks about her. I mean, he talks about all his nieces and nephews. Like, he has a very special part in his heart for all his nieces and nephews. But Marlon she fought her way to make sure that they didn't close the casket and they didn't take my grandmother away until we got there to say goodbye. And she fought. And she was like, no, this cannot happen. My uncle needs to say bye. And she fought, guys. She fought. And like my dad is like, that's my little girl. Like, you know, that's my little girl. Like, to this day, like, I know and it's funny because she's the cousin. She's a cousin that keeps the cousins together, you know? Like, she's that person. Like, she'll call. Like, I would never call, but she'll call me. And she'll call my other cousin, Astrid. And it's like, you know, like, she's that person. She's like my grandma in a way, you know? So we got, and then she fought, and then we got there. And remember, guys, I was pregnant. So at that time, I completely forgot that I was pregnant. And all I was thinking about was just going to see my grandmother. So I got to the casket and I cried. And of course I couldn't touch her because I was pregnant. You know, a lot of stuff comes out of a lot of toxins come out of the body when you die. And I couldn't touch her because I couldn't risk my daughter's life. But my grandmother had this unique thing about her. She had the best hair. It was white like snow, and soft, so soft. And I wanted to just touch her hair for the last time, and I couldn't. And I remember my mom's side of the family was there, and they were like basically trying to grab me and like pull me off of the casket. And I had to be like, listen, all right, get off of me. This is my grandmother. And everybody's like, no, Steph, you can't stress, stop crying. And I'm like, listen, all right, I'm gonna cry because I just lost a very important person in my life. You're not gonna tell me not to cry just because I'm pregnant, okay? I'm gonna cry. I'm not gonna touch her, but you're gonna leave me here. And of course, they had to take her right away because it was already past the time. They had to take her right away. And then we went to go bury her in where my grandfather laid to rest, right next to him. And I remember feeling in my heart the casket going in the Dominican Republic, how they bury people is they put them in a casket, but they put in the hole is like cemented, right? So then you put the casket in this cement box, and then you close it with another cement like door, and then you cement it around. Because in the Dominican Republic, what they do is they like to reuse and steal other people's caskets. So they would break it, take the casket, throw the body anywhere, and resell the casket. In this case, to make sure that doesn't happen, we use the cement, and sometimes we get guards to guard the graveyard until the cement is completely dry. But we had to all say a little speech, and it was a very stressful moment, especially being 6 months pregnant, having to travel all the way across the country to go to my home country, because I was not born here. I was born in the Dominican Republic. To go back to my home country, you know, that traveling puts a lot of stress on a pregnant woman. So that you're not supposed to travel after, I believe, 7.5 months. I was already approaching that bench, you know, it was like 30 days into like approaching it, and it was a very stressful moment. But at the same time, I remember staying in my grandma's house and sleeping in her bed, and just basically living in the moment and the memories that I had of her. And I remember going into the living room, and she had a picture of me when I was a little girl. She had a picture of me in one of the tables. And I never felt so proud to be her granddaughter. Like, she felt so proud to have me as her granddaughter, you know? Like, of course she had pictures of all her grandchildren, but the fact that she had a picture of me, you know, because all my other cousins, they grew up with her in the same house, most of them anyway, you know, or close to her. Like, me and my family always lived in Manhattan, and they always lived in the Bronx, and then she went to the Dominican Republic, and 3 of my cousins went over there to live with her. Then my brother went over there. But the fact that she had one specific picture of me, like, that was an amazing moment, and I cried. And although it was a sad moment for the whole family bonded, you know. And we were like, we need to make it an effort for us not to break apart, because she was the mold to our family. We need to make it a part of us, a part of our duty, to make sure that this family stays together. And, you know, as the years gone by, it's been 6 years, and as the years gone by, it has gotten harder to stay connected with the family. Part of my cousins moved to Florida. One of my other cousins still live in the Dominican Republic. My other cousin lives in Long Island, but pretty far away. My uncle and his kids live in the Bronx, and we see them from time to time. And then my aunt she moved back from the Dominican Republic, and she lives in the Bronx. But my family means the world to me. Okay? And I love my mom's side of the family. Like, I adore them. Especially, like, my mom's brothers and my grandmother that we call Mamichi. Especially that bunch. I feel like it's a part of my dad's family. You know what I'm saying? Because I grew up with my dad's family. I didn't really grow up with my mom's family. But, like, my mom's brothers, my mom's mom, my grandfather, I feel like they're a part of my dad's family, you know? And although losing my grandmother was very stressful, we all knew it was going to come, because she was already getting to that age where we had to mentally prepare for her to leave us. But undergoing that stress while you're pregnant I do not wish that upon anybody, because it's like you feel like you have to hold everything in, because everybody's gonna shelter you, or everybody's gonna tell you not to do it, not to cry, you know. Like, yeah, you're feeling emotions, but you gotta, like, just, you know, let it be. My advice is to not hold it in. If you ever go through something like that and you're pregnant, my advice is never to hold it in, because you're gonna hurt more if you hold your emotions in, if you hold your feelings in. I feel like that you're hurting in silence, you're suffering in silence. Why not express yourself and let the people you know around you know that you're suffering and you need help with this? You understand? And especially being pregnant with all these hormones and all this extra, you know, hormones that you get in your body, you feel it more. It's like it hits you more. It's like a double. It's like a double emotion. You understand? Like, I don't even know how to explain it. But again, I made it through. I conquered the feeling. I let myself feel the feeling. I let myself feel the moment, you know. And all my subscribers and all the people who watch my videos, as you know, the message that I always try to bring is faith over fear, and to basically live in the moment and feel the moment, because this is going to prepare you for something much greater. that was a hard moment, and I don't know what it's preparing me for. It's still 6 years later, and I still don't know what it's gonna mentally prepare me for, or what is going to happen within my family that's gonna help me to cope with that. But all I know is that it's gonna come, and that I had to live through that moment to survive the next. So guys, again, faith over fear is what gets me through everything. So remember to always stay positive. Always think that there's a lesson to be learned, and I promise you, you're gonna be okay. I promise. So guys, I know this is a really sad one, but remember, like, share, comment, and subscribe, and I will be back with more videos. Alright guys, thank you so much for listening. Bye.